What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Outriders. Now first things first, massive shout out and thank you to Square Enix for sponsoring this video. That really helps us out here and supports the channel. Now in the video today, we're going to take a good look at the Trickster, and specifically a crazy build that will develop over time, becoming one of the strongest builds on the class available in the game. So if you want to find out more about Outriders, the demo, and specifically the Trickster as a class, be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Outriders content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now, if you haven't had a chance to jump into the Outriders demo just yet, now is the perfect opportunity. People Can Fly and Square Enix have come together to create this incredible game, and prior to launch are offering an entirely free demo. Now, there is a link down in the video description below which provides all the details on the demo that's currently available. It provides over 3 hours of brutal combat, allows you to team up with your friends, experience all 4 classes, as well as 4 unique playstyles to try out, and any progress that you make throughout the Outriders demo will carry over into the final version of the game. So any gear that you've customized or any gear that you've earned, you'll be able to take that with you into the final version of the game, which launches on the 1st of April. Now, as well as this, the demo has full crossplay enabled. So with Outriders coming to PC, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS5 and PS4, you can play with your friends no matter the platform, pretty much anytime, anywhere. Now this enables you to experience this RPG shooter with brutal powers and intense action. It has deep RPG elements and mechanics, as well as a compelling story in this dark sci-fi world. Now as for the story itself, Earth is left inhospitable by war and natural disaster, and the last remains of humanity have arrived on the planet of Enoch. This is in search of a new home, and as an Outrider you are the first boots on the ground, charged to clear the way for the arrival of the colonists. Now shortly after arriving though, a horrible storm arrives called the Anomaly, and this appears to fry all advanced technology and infuse living beings caught in it with an evolutionary energy that either tears them apart or leaves them changed, giving them altered powers. Now wounded as a result of this storm, we are locked in cryostasis after our first encounter with the Anomaly. We are awoken 30 years later in a very different world. So that's our quick overview of the Outriders demo, what you can get up to and where you can get your hands on it. But today we're going to take a closer look at the Trickster. Now the Trickster is a close range combat specialist who is very agile and likes to deal high damage, as well as provide hit and run tactics. So if you like to get in and out the thick of action very fast without anything but a scratch and completely decimate your targets, then this is the class for you. Now as well as being able to bend the laws of space and time and pretty much appear out of nowhere, this class has a very unique healing mechanic. So as a Trickster, each enemy that is killed in close range will heal you and extends the duration of your shield too. This keeps you in the action for longer, really leaning into that aggressive playstyle that we're going to be looking at closer today. Now each class in the game has 8 unique skills. Now the 3 skills that we're applying to our build today is Temporal Blade, Hunt the Prey, and Twisted Rounds. Now Temporal Blade is a damage and interrupt type ability, and this will paralyze and slice enemies in front of you, dealing damage and inflicting slow and interrupt to all targets. Now as for Hunt the Prey, this is a movement type ability, so you get to select an enemy, teleport behind them, and receive a shield bonus as a result. And the final one we're taking a look at is Twisted Rounds, and this is a damage type ability, and this allows you to fill your weapons magazine with anomaly infused bullets that deal significantly more damage to enemies. Now the skill lasts until you reload or switch weapons, and it's this skill in particular that's going to allow us to deal insane amounts of damage. Now these are just 3 of the 8 skills that are available on this class in the final version of the game, and there are a few that I'm very excited to get my hands on in the final release. One of these is called Cyclone Slice, and this is a damage and interrupt type ability, and this creates a whirlwind of anomaly blades that deal damage and interrupt onto targets within a small radius of you with every hit, and this skill lasts for 5 seconds. But the one that I'm most looking forward to is called Borrowed Time. If you like to manipulate space and time and dart in and out of the battle in a blink of an eye, then this is something to consider. This is a movement type ability, and you receive a shield and mark your location for 28 seconds, and by triggering the skill again, this will bend space time and teleport you back to the marked spot. So whilst the build today will allow us to dart into the fray and deal as much damage as we possibly can in short periods of time, this particular ability will still allow us to do that, except also teleport back to safety, allowing you to dart in and out of the battle at ease, becoming a difficult target for your enemies. So that's a roundup of the class skills, but in fact alongside this there's also an entire class tree too. As you level up in the game, you'll earn class points. Now in the demo we get access to 2 of these points, and this allows us a small amount of customization on our current character. And as you can see, this class class tree is absolutely huge. Now, as you apply these class points, these will unlock additional abilities, bonuses, and traits across the entire class tree. And you can choose whichever route that you want to customize the character to your playstyle. Now, one of the early unlocks that I'm looking forward to getting my hands on is called Shotgun Master. This increases your shotgun damage by 15%, but also improves the drop rate of shotguns by 12%. So as well as improving my damage, I have a slightly better chance of getting my hand on some awesome weapons. And bonuses and traits like this are commonplace throughout the entire class tree. Now, with the 2 class points available in the demo, I've applied this to Arms Trick. This gives us a 15% weapon damage bonus at close range, but also Bullet Storm. This helps reduce our reload by 20%. Now, these 2 perks synergize perfectly together, and a 20% reduction in our reload speed will become very apparent when we start looking at the mods on our armor. Now, first of all, we're going to take a look at some of the insane weapons we're going to use to pull this build off. Now, the first one we're taking a look at is called Marksman Zack Setting Sun. This is an epic pump action shotgun. If you don't have any epic items right now, you can claim these from the vendor. The items they have on sale do refresh each and every hour. Now, the main perk we're using here is called Stiffening. This is very similar to one of the Trickster's main skills called Slow Trap. That's a deception type ability where it creates a space-time anomaly that inflicts slow onto enemies. Now, Stiffening does a similar thing and it has a cooldown of just 8 seconds. And if you can fire your shots right, this can apply to multiple targets too. Now, another great weapon to have in your arsenal is the Amber Vault. This is a legendary double gun. It has 2 incredible mods, one called Killing Spree and the other one called Brain Eater. This is where killing shots increase damage by 30% for this weapon for 30 seconds, and the bonus deteriorates with time and stacks up to 5 times. And Brain Eater is where critical shots do not consume ammo. Now, if you're able to pair this with Twisted Rounds, you can absolutely melt bosses and elites with minimal effort. Now, to finish off this build, we're going to take a look at some of the mods on our armor. Now, if we take a look at our helmet, we have 2 here, and the main one that we're looking at is called Blazing Aegis, and this is where killing enemies inflict a burn, which increases your armor by 122 for 10 seconds, and this will stack up to 3 times. And we're pairing this with a mod on our upper armor called Additional Mag, and this is for Twisted Rounds, and this is where the skill is effective for 2 magazines before triggering the cooldown, meaning that you can reload after your first magazine of Twisted Rounds and get a whole additional magazine for free. On our lower armor, we have a mod called Slasher, and this is for the Temporal Blade, and this skill can be activated 1 more time before triggering the cooldown, once again giving us a double opportunity of dipping into Temporal Blade. On our gloves here, we have a couple of options. We have Backstabber, which is for the Hunt of the Prey ability, and this is where using the skill deals 50 damage to the enemy that you teleport behind. And this pairs very well with Fresh Mag, which is a key mod on this build, and pairs perfectly with the reduction in reload speed, as reloading increases your firepower by 30 for 10 seconds, and this stacks on top of Twisted Rounds. So if you can time your reload perfectly, you can take advantage of both of these perks at the same time, dealing incredible amounts of damage. And finally, on our boots, we have a mod called Double Stop. This is again for Temporal Blade, and this increases the duration of the inflicted paralysis by 100%, making those 2 Temporal Blade slices very potent indeed. So that's an overview of our fundamentals, class skills, weapons, and armor, and all the mods on them to make this build possible. But let's take a look at this in action. As we can see, by teleporting in, we instantly deal 50 damage and quickly take out that elite. Now, Temporal Blade comes in clutch when you have groups of enemies together, allowing you to take them out in a very short period of time. Now, the trick here is to time the reload of the shotgun with activating Twisted Rounds. If you can pair these 2 things together, then you're going to be one-shotting most things with this shotgun, including elites. And the captain here takes just 4 rounds to defeat, making him very short work indeed. Now, Prey of the Hunt is fantastic for movement, as this can catch your enemy off guard, enabling you to manipulate your position and using those few extra final seconds to your advantage, taking them out with relative ease. It's fun to trick your enemy, but it's even more fun to take them out in style. So here we're drawing our enemies closer to us. When they get close enough, they will activate Prey of the Hunt. This will change our position, confusing them, allowing us to use Temporal Blade to interrupt and damage them slightly. Once here, they are completely at our mercy, and we can dispatch them one at a time. It's really fun to play around with this build, drawing enemies in and tricking them at the last moment, really playing into this class's name. Now, having Stiffening on your shotgun really does mean you don't have to compromise on the class's abilities. It's a good replacement for Slow Trap, and having the extra damage on a reload is a perfect partner to Twisted Rounds. So there we have it, a good deep look at the Trickster class in Outriders. So if you're new to the game and haven't decided on what class you want to play, if you like being a space ninja, then this is definitely the class for you. Once again, huge shout out to Square Enix for for sponsoring this video. That really helps us out here on the channel. And be sure to use the link in the video description for more information on the Outriders demo. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That also helps us out here on the channel. And if you are new here and want to keep up to date with more Outriders content, and there'll be many more guides and builds coming over the next couple of weeks and months, be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.